I was standing in the conference room doorway, coffee still hot in my hand, when the words landed like a slap I didn't see coming. Our new direction needs more presence, more voice. You're great at the work, Sarah, but you're just too quiet. My boss said it casually, like she was commenting on the weather. The rest of the team nodded in that careful, agreeing way people do when they don't want to be next. I smiled, small, tight, said, "Got it," and walked back to my desk. The coffee tasted like metal after that. I set it down untouched and stared at my monitor until the screen went to sleep. That meeting was 6 years ago. Back then, I still believed quiet meant weak. I spent the next few months shrinking even smaller. I stopped raising my hand in brainstorming sessions. I emailed ideas instead of saying them out loud. I laughed softer, apologized more, made myself smaller so no one would have to ask me to be quiet again. I told myself it was strategy, survival, but mostly it was shame wearing a professional blazer. Every performance review echoed the same note. Sarah has excellent technical skills, but needs to step up her visibility. Visibility, like I was a ghost haunting my own career. I started dressing brighter, red blouses, statement earrings, thinking maybe color would make sound. It didn't. The louder the room got, the quieter I became inside. Then came the layoffs. Not me, not yet, but close enough that fear moved into my apartment rent-free. I lay awake at night replaying every meeting, every time I'd stayed silent when I had something real to say. I kept thinking, if I'd spoken up sooner, maybe I'd be indispensable. Maybe I'd be safe. The silence I'd worn like armor started feeling like a cage. One Tuesday, I was in the break room microwaving leftover pasta when I overheard two colleagues by the coffee machine. "She's sweet, but let's be real. She's never going to lead anything if she can't even speak in a room of 5. The other one laughed, short and sharp. "Yeah, we need people who command attention, not fade into the wallpaper." I stood frozen, fork halfway to my mouth, pasta cold now. The microwave beeped behind me like it was laughing too. I didn't turn around. I just walked out, left the food spinning inside. That was the moment the shame cracked open and something hotter poured out. Not tears, anger. Clean, bright anger. I went home that night and sat on my couch in the dark. No lights, just the street lamp cutting stripes across the floor. I opened my laptop and started typing. Not an email, not a resignation, a list. Every idea I'd ever swallowed, every correction I'd never made, every "actually, I think" I'd buried. Pages and pages. My fingers hurt. I didn't stop. The next morning, I printed it, not to send, just to hold. I folded the stack, put it in a drawer, and went to work like nothing had changed. But something had. A few months later, the company restructured again. They created a new internal training program: leadership, communication, finding your voice. Guess who they tapped to facilitate the first session? Not me, the loud ones, the ones who'd called me wallpaper. They needed someone to fill seats, so they sent out a company-wide email asking for volunteers to co-lead. I stared at that email for 10 full minutes. Then I hit reply. "I'd like to help facilitate." I didn't say more, didn't explain, just that. They said yes, probably because no one else wanted the extra work. My first session was in a windowless room on the 3rd floor, 12 people, mostly junior staff, mostly women. I stood at the front with nothing but a flip chart and the knot in my stomach. I didn't have slides, I didn't have a script. I just started talking. Not loud, not performative, just honest. I told them about the meeting where they said I was too quiet. I told them about the break room conversation I wasn't supposed to hear. I told them how I used to think silence was safety and then realized it was starvation. I didn't cry, my voice didn't shake, but I spoke every word like I'd been saving it for years. Afterward, 3 people stayed behind. One said, "I've never heard anyone say that out loud before." Another asked if I'd do it again next quarter. The third just hugged me, quick, awkward, but real. Word spread. Not because I was suddenly charismatic, but because I was real. They started asking me to lead more sessions. Then external clients heard about the program and wanted me to speak at their offsites, then conferences, then paid webinars. The first check felt surreal, like money for breathing. I stared at it in my bank app for a long time before I believed it was mine. There was one night, maybe a year in, when I was driving home after a talk in a hotel ballroom 2 states over. Rain on the windshield, wipers thumping steady. My phone lit up with a text from my old boss, the one who'd started it all. "Saw you're doing really well with speaking now. Proud of you. We always knew it was in you." I pulled over at a gas station, sat in the parking lot under the fluorescent lights, read it again, laughed once, short, bitter, then deleted the thread. Not angry anymore, just done. I didn't need her pride, I needed my own. These days, I still get nervous before I step on stage. My hands still shake a little when I hold the mic, but I step up anyway. I speak slowly, I pause when I need to. I let silence sit sometimes, because silence isn't empty anymore, it's mine. Last week, a woman came up after my talk, mid-30s, eyes tired but bright. She said, "I've spent my whole career trying to be smaller so they'd keep me. Hearing you tonight, I think I'm ready to stop." I didn't have advice, I just nodded, said, "Me too." Took me years. We stood there a minute, two quiet women who used to disappear in rooms, now choosing not to. I still don't shout, I don't perform, I just say what's true in the volume it deserves, and people pay to hear it. Not because I'm loud now, because I finally stopped being afraid of my own sound. Some nights, I still sit on my couch in the dark. No laptop, no list, just me and the street lamp stripes. I listen to the quiet, not the old kind that choked me, but the new kind, the kind that holds space, the kind that lets me breathe. And in that space, I hear myself most clearly. Not perfect, not polished, just here, still speaking.